Salutations, my fellow dudes and dudettes, and welcome back to Star Fox 64. Last time we wrapped up Katina and Solar, as well as the alternate route in Sector X. Let's go to Macbeth.
So you're going to attack the enemy base? Great idea, Fox.
It'll be a piece of cake, General.
Good luck.
Okay, now Macbeth is the second of the two Landmaster levels. We already experienced the Landmaster with the with Titania when we had to go save Slippy, so I don't feel the need to go over how the Landmaster controls. So the basic idea with this level is that you got this train that you're constantly tailing, and you want to destroy the segments of the train as you proceed through the level, because it'll eliminate some of these obstacles that it drops, such as those rocks we just blew up. The score requirement for the medal in this level is 150. Sounds like I've been saying that a lot with all these levels. I feel like on average 150 is the general quota for most of these levels. Now, unfortunately, like, there's only one comfortable way of getting the medal for this level. You might still be able to get it, no problem. Well, with a bit of practice, you might still be able to get it without doing the easy way. But it's preferred to do it the easier way. As for what that is, we'll see that later in the stage. Charge shots. Do charge shots on those rocks to get plenty of points. You can't lock on the rocks, but as long as the charge shot hits all of them at once, you'll still get the points. Now, unfortunately, since I didn't have any bombs, I can't really go destroy these parts of the train very effectively. So I'm just going to have to settle with just doing this level normally. Because Falco, you're useless!
I guess I should be thankful.
More like you should. More like you will thank me. Otherwise, you're not getting paid. I hate you, Falco. Be careful with this part. You're gonna want to use your hover and try to do it and try to start hovering early, because otherwise you're gonna just crash into the things like that. And once you get to a certain point, we'll reach the checkpoint. There are two routes you could take with this level. I will be showing off both in this video, obviously. Alright, so... Oh, that's right, yeah. Sorry for that edit, that little random cut. I think my HDMI cable was giving me trouble or something like that. I don't really remember. I think by the end of the playthrough, I did end up just switching to a new HDMI cable entirely, because it was just giving me way too much crap. Alright, so here's how the alternate route works. As Peppy said, you gotta shoot 8 switches in order to open a lock. We're not gonna be doing that for this run. We're going to ignore at least 1 or 2 of them. Like that one on there. And now we got our boss fight. Now it's actually kind of interesting how you could actually do the alternate route during the boss itself. It's kind of similar to Sector X, where if you beat the boss fast enough, you don't have to go to Titania if you don't want to. However, this one is a bit more unique. Alright, so let's go over the boss real quick. Alright, so first off, it's going to shoot a lot of these little spears into the ground like so. It'll also try to claw at you with its metallic talons. I apologize for that. I don't know what happened there during the recording. And it's also got this attack where it can use both of its wings to start shooting these little rays at you. And you're gonna want to be cautious with those, because they can hurt, and you can get caught in them for a good minute. So try to you know, veer left or right, Get out of the way. Peppy, I am busy right now. And once we get to this point, the compartment's going to open. Then you're going to shoot the compartment, and the robot's going to start to essentially lose control. And that's when you start shooting it. And it also drops these little mines, too, throughout the fight. You're not doing anything. What are you talking about? Oh, yeah, it also does that. I forgot it did that. If you can, veer to the left and right. Just hover above them. And that's the boss.
All aircraft report. I'm fine. Everything's A-okay. Ah, you're getting better, Fox.
So that's us completing the mission. However, we want to be able to accomplish the mission. So let's just backtrack a little bit to the where those switches are at. As mentioned, there are 8 switches you're going to have to shoot. If you miss one of them, you're going to have to do that boss as I showed off earlier. However, if you manage to shoot them all, you'll get a more fulfilling ending to this mission, let me just tell you.
Location confirmed. Sending supplies. I didn't expect to ask you this. You're very lucky.
Alright, you want to be careful here because you can miss the switch on the left if you're not paying attention. Now, Falco will shoot one of the switches for you, so I guess he's not totally useless. I believe he shoots the one on the right, so you have to make sure to go for the one on the left. Yes, yeah, you have to go for the one on the left. And once you get all 8 switches, the switcher will be enabled, and then you can do this.
Good going, Fox. No! Hit the brake! I say, stop it!
And now...
All aircraft report.
I can see the look on their stupid faces.
Ouch.
I'm sure we heard him this time. Now it's our turn to kick some tail.
And that's how you get the medal. The most efficient way to get the medal. Accomplish the mission, you'll get a plus 50. You're probably wondering what that sudden pause between dialogue was. Well, I'll explain that later in the playthrough. But now that we managed to complete all the medium route stages, I think it's about time we started the difficult route. If you recall the attack carrier boss, if you do that route in Corneria at the beginning of the game, you'll have access to Sector Y. So let's check it out.
Fox, we're under attack. Help us out here.
I'm on my way.
Good luck.
Welcome to Sector Y, the combat zone. Now the biggest thing with Sector Y is that there's going to be a lot of these little Gundam-like enemies in this level. And unlike the typical fodder you come across throughout the levels, these guys actually take a number of shots, and they can actually block your shots too, with because they are armed with shields. Now this level has an interesting mission accomplish requirement. You need to be able to take out 100 enemies. You need to have a kill total of 100 by the time you finish the level. If you do not, you will be forced to go. You'll be forced to go to Katina. If you do, you'll be able to stay on the hard route. As for the medal requirement, 150 once again. Now, the most efficient way to get the requirement is that there's going to be a fork in the road soon. I unfortunately mistakenly show off the incorrect route that you're supposed to take. You'll see it in just a moment, actually. I think so. I think it's after this checkpoint. Watch out for all these little mines. These guys. Shoot the turrets as you proceed. And it should be right over here alongside these two Gundam robot things.
I've got everything above.
You should be flying above. That's where you want to go. You want to follow Peppy and Slippy because the majority of the enemies in the level are going to be over there. Unfortunately, with Peppy, there's just not as many enemies. I mean, I could have potentially taken those guys out, but I shot my smart bomb a little too late. And then we also got these blue variants of the Gundam robots, and they take a little bit more punishment. So keep that in mind. Otherwise, as for the level's difficulty, it's nothing bad. I mean, there's enemies all over the place, and those robots take a lot more to take down. But this level's nothing too bad. It's the boss that could give you trouble. But we'll be getting to that very shortly, actually. We're almost at the end of the level. Nice attention to detail, though. Depending on your score at certain intervals in the level, like early in the level, Peppy will tell you if you're doing well, good job, keep up the pace. If you're not doing well, Falco will scold you and tell you you're supposed to shoot them all. And in this case, he'll be like, "Is that the best you can do?"
Something's up ahead. Looks different.
And now we got our boss fight in all range mode to be accurate. Now we've got two Gundam robots that are quite beefy, and they love to move around. And you want to be careful with these guys because they can hurt your party members. And they do some potent damage. However, one thing I will credit this game for, at least in this boss fight, your partners could actually, your comrades could actually fight back and actually do some damage to the boss. I think somebody did. I think Falco or Peppy actually, yeah, it's Peppy. I think Peppy actually damages the boss a little bit before you actually bring him down. I think it's right here. Yeah, see? Like, Peppy actually shot him and did some damage. It's like, oh my gosh, they're actually kind of useful. But after you take those guys out...
Don't party just yet.
Now we have the real boss fight. Now, this guy flies around a lot more than the other two that we just took out. And it's a lot more dangerous because of that. Its pattern is so erratic, and I took that guy down pretty quickly, but there is actually an easy way to take him out. I'll explain in just a second.
We're heading for Aquid. Report in.
There you go.
Your skills have improved, Fox. I guess you're good for something.
There is going to be that ship where he came off of during the boss fight. It'll actually show up into the battle zone, into the battlefield, and he will temporarily land there. his health will replenish, but if you just pump him full of lasers, he can't heal fast enough for it to matter.
Star Fox, I want you to take out the enemy bioweapon.
Yes, sir. Deploy the Blue Marine.
Good luck.
And welcome to one of the worst levels in the game for a lot of people. And I'm inclined to agree, but this is not the worst level, at least for me. But it's more for it's more for the level that I hate the most in this game. It's not because of the level itself. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll get into that level next part actually. Because we're going to end this part off with Aquas. But the biggest problem with Aquas that a lot of people tend to have, and I don't blame them, it's dark. You can't see anything. Yeah, you have bombs that you can shoot, and you actually have unlimited bombs in this case. Not only torpedoes...
Shoot a torpedo to help you see.
Thank you, Falco. The torpedoes will light your way. It doesn't help too much.
Like the pollution has started.
But... it's the most effective way to see what you're fighting, essentially. But like, thankfully the mic didn't pick that up. The side of my head was itching. But the score requirement for this one, I believe, is also 150. I could be wrong about that. But the biggest problem with meeting the medal requirement in this level is because since you can't see anything, enemies can sneak up on you, and if you're not constantly like shooting torpedoes while being locked onto a lot of enemies, you can miss out on a lot of kills. And there's a lot of enemies in this level that take a good chunk of firing in order to take down, like this anglerfish right here. Like you want to have your hyperlators for this one, because otherwise you're just not going to manage well. And those torpedoes, use as many of them as you can to get those bonus points. And then there's going to be this little, like, this guy over here, this little aqua turrets thing. It's like, destroy that guy as fast as you can, and then you can get the points. Like, you just destroy, shoot, shoot. That's all I can really say. Also, don't die, obviously, which can most likely happen very easily because of those starfish that you've been seeing throughout the level. If they get too close to you, they'll immediately detonate, and you'll take a good small chunk of damage. It's not too bad, but it will build up after a while. Fun fact, this is the only level in the Star Fox series where the Blue Marine makes an appearance. I guess people just didn't like the Blue Marine. I think it's fine. Like, I think it's cool that you have unlimited torpedoes. I just wish we had a level where... I just wish we had a level with the Blue Marine where you could actually see stuff. I will give points to Aquas for one thing. This is one of my favorite tracks in the game, and that's something I haven't commented on, the soundtrack with this game. A lot of people say that's the first Star Fox game has a better soundtrack. I'm inclined to disagree, but I guess you could argue that's only because of my lack of nostalgia for the first game. And since I jumped on this game first before actually doing an LP of that game, like I said, I will get to doing that at some point, just not now, because I don't think I'm skillful enough to do so, because at this point in time, I've only been able to complete the first route in that game.
I found the bioweapon.
It's time for the boss. Oh yeah, and Aquas is one of my favorite tracks in the game. Alright, now you might not be able to tell because of how dark it is, but we got a giant clam. Now, now this guy has actually 3 little cups on top of its head that shoots out a bunch of snake-like enemies. You want to shoot those down because they'll give you bonus points. They'll give you bonus points if you manage to take them down. So try and do that as fast as you can. That way you don't waste too much time because you know you want the bonus points for taking out the boss real quickly. All right, but basically what you want to do is, as you already saw, like you want to take out those rainbow. You want to take out its 2 things, whatever they're called. I don't know the anatomy of a clam. I'm sorry. But after you take out those little colorful things, it'll reveal itself, and you're going to want to have to shoot this shell repeatedly. You're going to want to be careful because those eggs can constantly get pot shots on you. You could destroy the turrets that are constantly shooting at the eggs, but the issue is that they'll just grow back. They'll just grow back soon after. They don't go away permanently. The biggest issue with that boss fight is not being able to hit the eye because the eggs can get in your way.
We're preparing to dock. Thanks, Flip. Blue Marine came through. Flip is not such a screw-up after all.
Thanks a lot, Peppy.
I'll take the sky any day.
Sheesh, Falco. You too.
And also a point of interest, if your party members have taken a good sum of damage before this point, they get a full recovery because, as you might have already noticed, you were by yourself throughout the entire level. So if your party members are low on health, don't fret about it because they automatically heal fully during this level. Because apparently we only had time to build 1 Blue Marine. Whatever. Alright, so with that said, next time on Star Fox 64, we're going to head to the polluted planet of Zonus. Got 2 polluted planets in a row, huh? Oh. Well, anyways, until then, I got a juice.